Welcome on in to the 411 podcast. It is freestyle sessions tonight, and I think we're getting ready to go on a crazy journey, but we'll see what happens. But if you'd like to get in on the action tonight, you can request me live on Instagram, and we're going to have a special phone call tonight on freestyle sessions. So, listen, some of this information that you might get tonight is going to take you to a whole nother level. So, if you'd like to join in and sit with me and speak to my special guest tonight, you can request me live on Instagram. So it's Tuesday, January 25th. Man, I can't even believe that this month is like almost done. Like, this is it. After this week is done. It's crazy. It's like it just, the new year was just here. But anyway, song of the day, You Don't Know My Name by Alicia Keys. This is one of my favorite songs, and it's always like one of my go-tos when it comes to Alicia Keys. There's so many different songs that she has and so many different hits. I understand that, but for some reason, just the video, the concept, the vocal arrangement on this, man, I really love this joint. It's actually her birthday today, so happy birthday, Alicia Keys. Um, I love this joint. You Don't Know My Name, 2003, released off the Diary of Alicia Keys. Now, this is a very powerful album because, of course, the hit single from it that everybody knows, If I Ain't Got You. But for some reason, I think this is the one that it was on, If I Ain't Got You. I could be wrong, but um, anyway, my all-time favorite Alicia Keys songs, You Don't Know My Name. So if you're out there, let me know what your favorite Alicia Keys song is. She has so many different hits, and you know, I think she has one also with I believe it's with one of the people from Tony Tone, if I got that right. I could be wrong, but that is one of my joints too. Love it. Anyway, so I want to give a very special shout out to everybody out there, people on Facebook. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Instagram family. Also, we are not on TikTok, probably not until Thursday, Friday. And we'll be back on TikTok. Taking a little break now. We had a little issue, a little suspension, but we'll be all right. Twitter, YouTube, D Live, Twitch, no matter what room you come in, you go in. I just want to say thank you to everybody, even if it's, a handful of people. We just need to get this message out to one person. That's all. So go ahead and share this video with your friends. Like, comment the whole thing, and let me know what you feel about it. Last night we had Big Reek come on, and I believe he said he was from Fort Myers, Florida, and for some reason I think that there's a Fort Myers, Texas, probably in my own mind. So I don't know, but it sounds like it works well to me. But anyway, Fort Myers recording artist Big Reek came in, and we just had some great conversation. Some conversation, it went in a little spiritual direction as well. So great person. Second time around on this too. He came around when we first got started. So go ahead and watch that replay and support Big Reek tonight. Mr. Jason T. Davis, all the way from Los Angeles, California. He's coming in tonight on his freestyle session, and we're going to learn. I always learn a lot of stuff when he comes in. So, like I said, your mind is getting ready to go into a whole nother. I want to say dimension. We could say that tonight. Miss Leah Abraham from New Mexico, thank you for your support. Switch Thrift Clothing Company. Danny, thank you from My Survivor Voice podcast. Y'all go ahead and support that. Check that out. My Survivor Voice podcast. Sophie Davis, all the way from the UK. Miss Seduction Spot. For those of you out there that need to get your adulting on, head on over to Seduction Spot. You can find her on Instagram at Miss MISS Seduction Spot. YRE Hair Growth. Thank you for your love and support. Mr. Trenton, New Jersey himself. Farrell Higginbotham, thank you for coming through. My girl, Bethany Trent, all the way from California. She comes through. She has a couple business ventures as well. One that I used to love to say all the time. Her business, fuckbeingfat.com. That's PHUCK, beingfat.com. And of course, Darielle Rogers. Thank you for supporting. I was getting ready to say your other name, but I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to just call you by the name that I know you of. Darielle Rogers out there on Facebook. Thank you. I appreciate you. So before we go ahead and get Mr. Jason on here, can I ask you a question? When was the last time that you did the right thing and you walked away from a toxic situation? You know that it wasn't right. You knew that if you engaged in this situation, it wasn't going to work out well for you. So when did you do the right thing and walk away from a toxic situation? Now, for those of you who've been checking me out for a minute, y'all know that I've been the king of toxic situations in my past. I'm so glad that I've been delivered, but I guess one of the biggest things that I can say is walking away from, myself. And that's real deep to say that because the old me that I used to be, I was just like, nah, I'm not doing this no more. I'm done with it. So when I want to think about a real toxic situation, because that's real deep to say a toxic situation, I'm not talking about, just a disagreement here or there, you know, this person said this person said that. Um, this is some real deep situation that you had to walk away from and get yourself together. So I could say that maybe 2 years ago, I decided to take responsibility for myself and you know, walk away from something that was toxic, walk away from myself because I was toxic. So, and that's enough when you say that I'm not doing that anymore. Stop it. We're moving on. We're not doing that no more. So sometimes you get so sick of yourself. And that's exactly what happened. I got so sick of being, you know, sick and tired of myself each and every time I made a mistake or each and every time I flew off the handle on somebody. What's going on, Mr. Will? How are you doing out there? All the way from Virginia. I appreciate you. So, when was the last time that you walked away from a toxic situation? Now, I know that when things may get toxic, because I know that everybody's not healthy, and that's cool, not to throw shade or anything, because there was a time when I wasn't, healthy with my mindset. But I see when the trap comes. So, I'm like, oh, okay, I've seen this before. I know exactly which direction you're going down, but we just gonna go ahead and we gonna turn left. We gonna turn right. We gonna do whatever we need to do to make sure that this doesn't get into some toxic situation and I don't get pulled into your nonsense. So I know how to see it these days, and I can see it. I can smell it a mile away, and I'm just so good, and I'm so good with it. So anyway, so we gonna go ahead and get into the 411 word of the day, which is release. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm grateful and thankful to still be here, doing this. So it's good. We here. We up. So 411 word of the day is release. This is a powerful word. And I want you all to think back to when you release something, or maybe you might need to release something. Maybe you're thinking about it. Maybe this will go ahead and help you make that decision or make that change that you might need to make. So, release is to allow or enable something or someone to escape and be free from confinement, to set free. This is so, so, so powerful because, you know, you might need to set yourself free. You might need to set someone else free. You might be holding somebody in captivity. You might even be held in captivity. So you might need to release. So, what is that you might need to release? Is it something that you're doing? Is there someone that you have in your life that you are trying to hold on to? Or are you being held on to and being held down remember that this is what I keep going back to this, and I'm so thankful for actually having, these teachings in my life. But you cannot. I need to create a T-shirt with this or something like this. But you cannot beat people into submission. You just can't. So if somebody does not want to be with you, you can't try to hold on to that person. You can't try to change that situation by, you know, dragging on, latching on, saying your same sad story. It's not going to work. If you knew that this person did this when you first met them, you can't try to change them later on and try to beat them into what you want them to be. So when you know that it's just not going to work, you need to release. So you need to allow or enable that someone or something to escape and be free from all types of confinement, bondage, and captivity, whatever it might be. Just set it free. So, what is it that you need to release in your life? Who is it that you need to release in your life? And at any time, did you ever felt like you were being trapped and needed to be set free and released? Hmm, that's some real deep stuff. Oh man. We're gonna check and see what Mr. Jason T. Davis has to say this time around.
Good evening.
How are you? What's going on?
I'm doing really good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for coming back on the freestyle sessions of the 411.
I love your show.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for the support that you give time and time and time again. I mean, I really do appreciate it.
Oh, oh no, no worries. I love to support artists. The nice thing about being a journalist is I'm a commercial. so if,
Mm,
so if I interview somebody or you interview me, I'm gonna broadcast so I can share the fame, basically.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What's going on, Miss Nini? How are you? Can't remember what part, but I think you're from South Carolina. I could be wrong, but I always get them mixed up. But all right. So I know that every time you come around, I learn something new, and you're just like a walking encyclopedia. And there's so much stuff that you send me that I don't even have time to even, digest it all. So I can't even
Yeah.
tell you half the stuff that I got to scroll back and dig into, and just amazing person. So what
Thank you, sir.
what are we learning tonight? And I just my reaction behind when you speak is amazing. So I'm just curious, which direction are we going into tonight?
I thought of something really odd right before you called. Have you
Hmm.
ever heard of the film Pump Up the Volume?
I think I've heard of it before. Yeah, I think so.
It, it was a 90s film with Christian Slater.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I saw it, but I remember being young during that time frame, and I remember the trailers and all that stuff being played. Yeah, but I don't think I've ever saw it.
Now that I'm older and not wiser, but definitely older, I can tell you some movies are now basically windows into another time, like a documentary. For instance, you and I have access to an incredible amount of technology.
Hmm.
I'm talking on a smartphone. You're doing a podcast. It's on YouTube. I'm staring at a computer screen on the internet. And in Pump Up the Volume, Christian Slater plays a teenager who is doing a pirate radio broadcast as a DJ, and he plays like crazy punk music and talks about crazy subjects. And the whole idea of the film is that he is very, very introverted. He doesn't like to talk to people. He's scared of people.
Mm,
But when he goes online, it's like therapy. He can talk. He can be free.
mm, okay.
And now, when you watch that movie, it is so primitive.
Hmm. I would say that I'm an introvert. I definitely would say that, and
That's a good thing.
I would say that I don't. Basically, I want to be bothered with people on my own terms. So I don't want people to have too much access to me. That always pissed me off and made me upset when people, it was just like an open door. Like I never knew who the hell was going to be around or what was going to happen. So for me, it's on my own terms. If I want to escape and I want nothing to do with you and I'm going to hide somewhere from you, I'm good at doing that. But
I
you
see what you mean.
but you are
'Cause you,
absolutely right, though, that when it is time for the 411 podcast, it's a whole
mhm.
different being that everyone sees. So that's
and,
interesting.
and yeah, but all of us, I often tell people who are not actors that all of us are actors. That the you that you are in front of your girlfriend is different than the you are when you're talking alone with your grandmother.
Oh, it's so funny that you said that because um, I'm trying not to say too much, but
Mm-hmm.
I have always been that type of person that gave someone the representative, right? And
Okay.
then as you're getting into some of these, situations, as time and time and time goes on, then the real you starts to come out. So when you're dating
Mm-hmm.
somebody, even when you might be friends with people in the beginning, everyone always puts that best foot forward and tries to put that representative on. I don't care if people say, "Oh, well, this is not me. This is I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be this or whatever." When you first meet somebody, when you're dating somebody, you're putting on that representative. So I've noticed that time and time again, maybe about the 3 month mark, you start to hit a little rocky patch where maybe you don't know if this thing gonna work out or not, because now you both are
Okay.
starting to show people who you really are. And after you've been wrapped up into some situations, and after you've been engaging in some sexual activity, depending on what the case may
My
be,
hunch it is.
you know, but you might enjoy it and you might question and say, what's worth it? The sex was good, or, I don't like this person, but the sex was good, or I don't like this part about him, but the sex was good. And you go back and forth and you go back and forth. And then you try to merge and mesh with somebody that you probably really shouldn't have in the first place because you did not show them who you really are from the beginning, is basically what I'm saying. So
I see what you mean. And
this time around
mhm.
now, I truly feel that I want to be that same authentic person in front of you, whatever situation we're going to
Oh,
be in. I need to be that same person that shows up each and every time consistently without putting on any fronts.
it reminds me of an old saying in Hollywood:
What's that?
the most important thing in Hollywood is integrity. Once
Mm.
you can fake that, you'll make $1 million.
You said fake integrity?
Yes, it's a Hollywood expression, but
I
it's making fun of the fact that a lot of people don't have integrity, so they fake it. that's that's like the salesman approach to life. You know? You ever known a person who became a salesman?
that became a salesman?
Yes,
I don't. I don't know. I know I was never good at it.
I had a lot of friends growing up, and every once in a while, one of them would become a salesman. And I don't know what it was that when they became a salesman after about 3 months,
Mm.
suddenly they were a really pushy, obnoxious person.
I I can.
And it's yeah,
No, go ahead.
and that's just it. Is if you've ever dealt with like a really pushy phone salesman at the mall or something, that's how it can feel. Where you just can't get out of the conversation or the situation because they keep doing this sort of funny, happy, controlling thing.
You just hang up the phone on them. That's what I do today. I just
There
hang
you
up.
go.
I try to be nice to people, and it actually happened to me a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, excuse me, didn't we have the same conversation before? Did something change? What did I tell you yesterday and the day before? And after a while, I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna give this too much energy. I'm gonna just hang up the phone because I told you on Monday. You call back Wednesday. You
Mm-hmm.
expect the situation to change by Friday? The answer is no. So yeah, I don't really deal with pushy salespeople like that, and I never really could become one of those.
That's that's really it. Is I am really bad at trying to talk somebody. I don't like to talk anybody into anything. I just hate that. And my friends would joke that my way of asking for a favor is, "Hey, can you help me?" No. Okay. So what do you want to do tomorrow? I mean, I'm just not the kind of pushy person. And in Hollywood, you do have to be a salesman. You do have to be pushy. And I really hate it.
I would love to just sit at one of the parties and see how everybody just interacts with each other. Yeah,
Oh Lordy, you don't want to be at a Hollywood party. It's like watching sharks eat
I
people
can,
alive.
I
It's really
could,
depressing.
I could imagine.
Like if you ever see a movie where vampires just start draining blood from people, or werewolves or something, they start eating people, a
Mhm.
Hollywood party can feel like that because there is a pecking order, and it's like you'll talk to somebody and then you'll realize, oh, this is another actor who doesn't have connections any different than mine. So you got to
Mm.
shake hands and look for the directors and producers. That's just how it is.
Oh, I've seen stuff like that. So once you realize that this person is basically in the same, boat as you, you hurry up and break loose and move on to the next.
Yeah, what
And
a
you
drag.
and you basically see people just running around and darting around the room like crazy. Yeah, I've seen it before. I haven't seen it in Hollywood, but I've seen it at a party before.
It's also that in Hollywood, it took me a long time to learn that your social network has to be your business because there's not a lot of time. And that's how it's just been in Hollywood forever. And so when I think of producing shows, or working with other entertainment people, like what you do is entertainment, but it's also journalism. So it's a smooth combination of kind of what I do.
Hmm.
And so I love to network with them, but also to work with them and try to be successful at the same time.
Mm.
I'm sure everybody feels like that when they're doing a movie, though.
So what's new for you when it comes to acting?
Let's see, acting. Well, it's audition season, so I have to go out there and audition, and that's been fun.
Is
And I'm
that
working
really
on.
is that really fun? Because you never know. You got to wait for that phone call, or do they let you know? Sometimes they let you know right on the spot, right? Not really. No.
I'll tell you this. I could tell you some terrible, terrible things that have happened to me in Hollywood in regards to auditions and jobs. And I'll tell the story. It's hilarious if you ever want to hear it about the Coca-Cola one. But you have to when you're an actor or actress, whatever you want to call them in Hollywood, a professional actor needs to quickly forget about the audition results. Don't worry about it. As soon as you do an audition, by all means, a person who does an audition and makes a mistake, okay, you made a mistake, you learn from it. Next time, don't make a mistake. Usually, that's just because of being nervous, fear. However, I one time had a friend, God bless his soul, who was like, "Man, I can't wait to hear back from this audition." I said, "Oh, did you have a call back?" He goes, "No, it was just an audition." I said, "You got to quit this business because you're not gonna live. You're gonna be an alcoholic."
Oh, by
I've
sitting
had
by sitting around waiting for a phone call.
I've had 3 callbacks for a job that could have made me 6 figures, and then they didn't call me back a fourth time and hired somebody else. That's life in the big city.
Mm.
But the thing to remember for any actor who's out there who's like worried about what I'm saying, oftentimes you are auditioning for a part in the future. So if you remember that, you can go to the audition and think, well, I'm no good for this, but I'm going to just be me. And then boom, you get the job next time. And God bless it, I've gotten jobs where they just called me and there was no audition. So it always balances out
Mm. Yeah.
if you have talent.
So do
You got to have talent.
you believe in law of attraction?
Law of attraction. So what do you mean, sir?
So, as far as if you want something, right? You
Mm-hmm.
chase after. Didn't we have this conversation? Was it you? Oh no, it was somebody else. I'm sorry. But
No, no, no. I think
law of
we
attraction,
mentioned.
when you want something so bad, like that person that might want that job, and they're like, "Oh, I can't wait till they call me back. I can't wait till they call me back." So you're stressing about it, and you're releasing all of this crazy energy moving towards wanting something so bad, and then it never comes. So, what I
Hmm.
was told, or what I heard, is that if you want something so bad, what you might need to
Hmm.
do is just release, which was one of the key words tonight. Release,
Oh,
basically set that thing free from your heart, from your mind, whatever. And
oh,
then all of a sudden, you'll attract that because you're not so focused on it. You're not so harping on it all the time. You're not pushing of what you want, because sometimes what we want, we don't get.
that, and there could be that if you look through space and time, the opportunity that hit you, you weren't ready for yet, but later on, you're going to be perfect for
Mm,
it. I can tell you this: in business, if you separate Hollywood and you go to business, in business, if you apply for a job or you apply for a position, same thing, you typically will follow up with a phone call or a letter.
mhm.
And in business, it is good and proper to follow up because it shows you want the job. In Hollywood, it shows you're a creepy stalker.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Yeah.
So, so Doom is the actor who decides to follow up on every director, every casting director,
Mm.
everybody, every audition, because they're going to seem like that. They're going to be in a slasher flick, starring themselves as a slasher. So you do the opposite. Maybe a business card, but that's it. You don't. Once you audition for something, you don't follow up and go, "Hey man, did I get the job?" Like imagine if 1,000, 10,000 people auditioning for a part did a follow up email, their server would explode.
Mm.
So it's in like opposite. I always tell people Hollywood is opposite land. That your normal instincts in regards to politeness and business behavior and
Mm.
social behavior, you got to kind of flip it over, but
Bro.
still be friendly and nice and good.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Like, you know how when, like, if your dog gets loose, and this is what I started to envision in my mind recently. So all of a sudden you're walking your dog down the street, and your dog's very playful, wants to run after every single person and jump on every single person. The minute that the dog breaks loose and realizes that he's loose, first thing he's
Mm-hmm.
going to do is run. Now,
Oh hell
but
yeah!
but he'll look at you first though, and he'll see what your reaction is going to be. And as soon as you chase after that dog, the dog's going to run. But what you do is, when your dog gets loose, is you run in the opposite direction. You run away from the dog, and then the dog will run and chase you. It's so crazy how that works out. It's so true.
What a great metaphor.
You should try it. I mean, I've tried it several times. You like, oh, like my dog is loose on this busy highway. I mean, on this busy road here. What do I do? This could be a tragic situation. One thing that you don't do is you don't chase a dog. You run in the opposite direction, and then most of the time, if you have a playful dog and you've been really connected with your dog, he's gonna chase you. So there
I
you
like the way you
go.
put that.
Yeah, there you go. When it comes to things that you want, sometimes if you keep following up, you keep checking, you keep stalking, you keep doing whatever, it's not gonna work. But the minute that you turn in the other direction, the minute that you release it and let it go,
Mm-hmm.
wonderful things can come out of it.
And I agree with that because people always talk about grinding. You got to keep grinding. Business, you got to grind. Now, it is good grind. You also got to dream, and you have to step back for a second and go, what am I grinding for? And am I grinding the right way?
Mm.
And that releasing is like, as a metaphor, imagine you're painting a painting, and you're working on a small detail, and so you get closer and closer to this big old painting. And then you suddenly realize you're obsessing over a toenail and you could be screwing up the entire foot. So you have to back up and look at the painting and go, oh, okay, I'm back on track. I'm paying too much attention to toenails. This is about a dragon attacking a knight or something. There's a princess in the background. So I see the concept of letting it go in terms of letting go of that need to do it and to be more zen and to simply do the work.
Mm. That makes sense. Yeah, you can.
Hollywood acting is like really when you're doing Hollywood acting, you can't you can never think, I hope I'm doing well. And you can't even think, what does this look like on film? Because it's horrible. You have to be so zen, and they separate the other people. Yeah. So that's a lot like how life is for everyone. You got to let it go.
Right. I agree with that. So yeah, that is so true though. Like, I guess you get real tripped up if you're worried about how it would look on TV or how it would look to other people. You can't be focused on that. You have to. I feel sorry for people who actually feel the way in that field. Like, that's hard. That's a horrible situation. You have to basically step in and get in your zone and do what you got to do and conquer everything. And then you worry about what it looks like, and you worry about what people think after the fact, after it's all said and done. What's going on, Neek? So what else you got for me today?
Well, it's not to add, a podcaster, a radio DJ, same thing these days. You guys, you're a radio DJ too. You're a whole bunch of different things. You're like me. You're an entertainer. You're a comedian, but you're a radio DJ. A person like that, you have to step back and let the other person speak, but also
oh my
you have
goodness.
to step back.
Yeah, go ahead, because I want to tell you about that. Go ahead.
Well, it's also, you have to step back and allow the communication to go. And that whole metaphor you said about how you can't chase the dog, let the dog chase you.
Mm-hmm.
My first stand-up comedy class in Hollywood was with a person named Bobby Oliver, who wrote a book called The Tao of Comedy. And she has this thing in her class called Embrace the Pause, where she really tries to tell you when you're doing comedy, you have to be in the moment, but then you also have to stop and let the moment happen. You have to let it go. If you're doing comedy, it's a conversation, and it's this it's a whole philosophy where she just says, just like you did, that you have to sort of just let everything go as you're performing, and then the jokes will make people laugh. But if you push it, the audience senses that pressure, and they're not going to want to laugh.
Yeah. I always try to give everyone a safe space here and to have people feel so comfortable when they're here.
Mm-hmm.
But I get uncomfortable sometimes when I'm doing my own show, because, and I never, this is the first time that people are going to hear it, but there are some people that come on here and they just go, and I had this conversation with my friend the other day. They just go on and 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 on. And did I tell you on and one more? But they just keep going on and on to the point where you can't get a word in edgewise. Now, when you come on somebody's show, you don't do that. You don't come on here and act like, you're going to take over the whole situation, because then after a while, everyone's going to notice that you're just rambling on and on and on and repeating the same situation 1,000 times. But I've had people who just will not come back on. And I always fought with myself and said, Laren, you really shouldn't do that, because, remember, you want to give people an opportunity and you want to do this, but you will just not come back on, because I've let you come back once. I let you come on first time, and then I was shocked, and I said, okay, maybe this is a training, because not everybody knows how to handle an interview or handle something like this. And then you come back the second time. Now you will not do it a third time. So I mean,
I think I go on.
No, I've had that situation happen time and time again, and it's just like, you have to know how to conduct yourself when you're talking to people, and even if it's not even being recorded on a podcast. What type of friend would you be, or what type of anything you would be, if you just download and you dump on the other person and don't give them an opportunity to respond?
Of course. It's also that I've interviewed a lot of people for magazines and other publications, and that's just it. When I ask somebody a question, if I keep talking, they won't be able to answer the question, or they're going to forget the question. And then it ain't an interview, it's a lecture. The magazine doesn't want a lecture from me. They want an interview with the other person.
Well, or I ask a person one question that should take 1 minute or less, and it takes a whole show. I've seen that before. I ask one question, should take 1 minute or less, and it takes damn near 30 to 40 minutes for them to get it out.
And when people talk to you on your show, they got to remember the Howard Stern show is the Howard Stern show. And so the Howard Stern, people are listening to him. They're listening to his persona having the conversation. The Larry Gaines show is the Larry Gaines show. People are listening to you talk to people. And a guest on your show, you're the host. Well, the host of the house still gets 50% at least in the conversation. He's the host of the house.
Yeah, it could be draining when you're trying to reel somebody in.
You did teach me a sound lesson last time, though. I felt bad.
What?
We were talking about Stranger Things, and in a conversation with a person at a bar or something, I don't want, if I say to a person, have you seen this movie? And they go, no. I don't want to lecture them about the movie because it's a one-sided conversation.
No,
Instead,
I want to know. For me, I want to know because I don't watch the movie, so I want you to tell me about it. Hell, you make me, it'll be easier for me because then I don't have to worry about it. I'm learning.
Oh, yeah, and it's just that I mentioned Stranger Things. You said, what's Stranger Things like? And then I instinctively, because I was just having a conversation with a friend at the bar, I said, you should check it out. And that's not what you're supposed to do on radio. You're supposed to go, well, let me tell you about Stranger Things, about this girl. And taught you a sound lesson about being interviewed, because I'm not really good at being interviewed. I'm really good at interviewing, but not being interviewed. It's hard, you have to be friendly.
Well, what's going on, Miss Jetta from my rap tribe, all the way from Texas? Thank you for joining today.
Wow, Texas, nice.
Yeah, the 4-in-1 podcast is amazing, and it's all to every single person out there. We've had people from France, Belgium.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's just amazing. India.
Oh, India.
So,
India's
yeah.
cool. They make great films.
Have you been there?
Oh, no, I wish.
So they have Bollywood.
They have Bollywood. Have you ever heard of the Bollywood film Baaghi? Baaghi?
No.
It is a Hollywood martial arts film. And so, I'm sorry, Bollywood. It is an Indian Bollywood martial arts film. And I won't go too much into it, but I'll tell you, when we watch films, there are certain expectations. A Bollywood film, one, it's a musical. Just you gotta sign up right there. That Baaghi is about a martial artist who beats the hell out of people by the end, but it's a musical. Because to them, a proper hero can sing and dance. A hero is all things. They can fight, they can make love, they can sing and dance, and they're fun to be with.
Sounds like the ultimate date, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah. And would the woman want such a man who could sing and dance and defend them? And Baaghi, they have these incredible singing and dance sequences, and then they have fight scenes that just defy freaking logic. But they're still. I'm not going to say realistic. No martial arts scene is realistic, but they're still very gritty. You can imagine the maneuvers happening in real life. There's a cheap plug for Baaghi, and I didn't even interview them. They didn't even pay me, but I did it anyways. Wow.
So now, speaking of martial arts and all of that stuff, I just want to say you were playing that part just a little bit too. It just seemed a little bit too realistic on your on your videos. When you chopping them damn boxes up, I said, you know what? I'm just letting you all know that if I ever hang out with Jason and I go missing, you know what happened? And I will broadcast, hey everybody, hanging out with Jason, just in case 4-in-1 host comes up missing and is chopped up into 1,000 pieces.
No. I would defend you. I would never get you. I would defend you. You'd actually end up in an action film, like a comedy action film that would span the globe, and that's why you went missing. Because you're someone with me, and it's like Indiana Jones or a movie like that. It's like James Bond at that point.
All I
I'm a nice guy. I'm really
all
nice. I
all I
promise.
know is that I wouldn't want to piss you off. I don't know what kind of
No,
I don't know what kind of swords, nunchucks, grenades, whatever you got. You probably got all kinds of ammo somewhere.
oh, it's more that in Kung Fu, oh my gosh, I've taken Taekwondo, and Taekwondo doesn't really get too much into weapons. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but Kung Fu has 18 weapons. They have a weapon called the Nine Dragon Spear.
Mm.
Like there was one dragon wasn't enough. That had to be nine. And so I don't know how to use every weapon. I don't know how to use like commas. I could use nunchucks. I know how to use a staff or a spear like really well. But Japanese Kenjutsu and what you were saying is Aiajutsu is really intricate, and that's why I was doing it. Because I was trying to show Hollywood that if I could do this realistically, I can also do this on camera with a much lighter weapon and not kill anybody because I'm also showing control.
Mm.
But that's like a really hard. It took me 10 years to be able to do that. And the reason you see emotion is in Kung Fu, there's this thing called the Phoenix Principle. And the Phoenix Principle is that if you're ever observing a yin yang, the yin yang has the white side and the dark, the light side and the dark side with the dots.
Mm-hmm.
But most people don't realize that a yin yang is actually a sphere, and it has a line through it, and the line indicates the Phoenix Principle, which is actually feminine. Yin is not feminine. Yin is it means other things, but the feminine is actually the Phoenix Principle, which is the line going down the middle. And so the Phoenix Principle is a lot of it means everything from when a woman is defending her baby. A woman defending her baby is going to murder that fool.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to do kung fu. She's going to destroy that sucker.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were trying to say that this passion, this emotion, is what allows you to do martial arts and deliver. And that's just it. Is if you see a proper Japanese Kenjutsu or Aiajutsu master perform, he's not going to show emotion. In Hollywood, I have to show emotion, otherwise the fight doesn't look like it has drama. Bruce Lee knew that, and Bruce Lee showed emotion. That guy understood the Phoenix Principle, and so I was trying to show a little bit of that, but I did show sloppy form because I was emotional, so I apologize.
I'm so glad you brought up Bruce Lee because this is exactly what I wanted to talk about. Because you seem to be so knowledgeable about some interesting things. So, Bruce Lee, something always chased him his life. I don't know if you watched his life story, but it was like this dark, I guess, I can't even think of the right word, but just something dark and evil was chasing him and it haunted him all of his life. And I do believe that the generational curse did not break because it's like something that he inherited from his father. And then, of course, the generational curse did not break, and then it transferred down to Brandon Lee, who also has lost his life as well. So,
That was so depressing. The poor man.
say it again.
That was very depressing. That poor man. I was really. Let's just say my friends and I were very depressed on the day Brandon Lee died. It was not cool at all, and there were tears. I like that guy. Damn it. He was the one who made the Crow real too. Without him, there'd be no comic books. I swear, I tell people, without Brandon Lee in the Crow, there would have been no X-Men, and there would be no comic book films. So Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe owes Brandon Lee a paycheck.
Interesting. That's a good insight, though.
Oh, I can tell you. Did I already tell you what killed Bruce Lee? I can tell you what killed Bruce Lee.
Well, that's what I was leading down. You tell me what killed him, and then I'll see if it lines up with what I was thinking.
In some individuals, if you are not careful, a combination of aspirin with other natural things like alcohol or whatever, or a combination of painkillers with other things like alcohol or cannabis or whatever, can cause your brain to swell, and then this can cause you to die. Now, remember at the time, that as much as we are enlightened human beings who understand that cannabis is totally natural, it's totally a normal substance, nobody should be in jail for it. This was at a time when people were very, very conservative and very, very afraid of weed. So nobody wanted to say that Bruce Lee probably smoked weed and that he took a painkiller, that it was the painkiller that killed him, not the weed. But it's just how it is, that if you look it up, some people with certain genetics, that's what happens. The other problem is, God bless Bruce Lee, he didn't have a lot of fat in his body. So because he didn't have a lot of fat in his body, normally a human being can store these toxins in their fat. But the poor gentleman, there was no place for the toxins to go. And so I'll send you some hyperlinks, but that's just it. You have to remember, part of the mystique of Bruce Lee is just what you said. There was a curse. He died under mysterious circumstances, which sells more movies and keeps it going. And that's okay. The man really did, work really hard. And the things he did in Hollywood are epic. And he worked at a time when it was very racist. People weren't open to an Asian like that just doing that. It was still messed up. And so he deserves to be celebrated.
It's still messed up today.
Really does. Huh?
You said it was messed up. I said it's still messed up today.
I agree. Things are changing. Like Warrior is really cool because Warrior, when I grew up, it was really racist against Asians and in film. And like an Asian was always just this person who was there as a total stereotype. In Warrior, you have a whole lot of Chinese people who are all very, very different people. They have different backgrounds. They're trying to do things. Some are good, some are bad. And it's great to see a show where it's not, where there's just this token person, because that's really, why we use the term. Instead, people want to see real life, which is typically a large majority of, people who have mixed backgrounds talking. But I grew up poor, so my definition of real is usually being surrounded by people of different types.
So when you say you grew up poor, right? Which I don't know what your definition of poor is, but how?
Are there any Latinos in your audience?
Yes.
You can tell them I grew up in South Onta, across the street from Dianza.
I don't know what that is.
I grew up in South Ontario, across the street from Dianza High School in Ontario, and I went to this school called Cypress Hill.
Oh, like the group Cypress Hill.
I was always wondering about the connection, but I think they're from. I don't think they're from Cypress School. But that'd be funny if they were. That'd be great. Actually, it'd be an honor. I love that. So I grew up in a really violent, just tore back neighborhood because it was poor. We were poor, and it's like that's how it is. When you go to school when you're poor, no offense to anyone out there. Whoever is out there, I have nothing against them. But if a person is white and rich, they're probably going to a high school or any school that is very, very, very expensive. And so they're simply going to not be with the kind of people you see when you're poor or middle class or lower middle class. And so later, when my family got more and more money and we moved to different places, it was like, wow, I remember growing up and it was just totally different. Suddenly, you're in a school and it's just a completely different set of demographics. Because Cyprus, when I grew up in Ontario, it was just very integrated. And that was a good thing because it made me better at talking to everybody later on.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. Probably.
I'll tell you what, dude. When I was in elementary school, I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow, in elementary school, huh?
Oh yeah, I've been playing advanced Dungeons and Dragons since the first grade. Well, the thing is, when you think of people who are African American, you don't think of them playing advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Absolutely not.
With people.
Absolutely not. Somebody asked me to play, and I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah. Same thing with Latinx, and I was like, no, all of my friends who played advanced Dungeons and Dragons back in the day were either African American, Latinx, and then a couple of white dudes. And then later, of course, in high school, it became more of like, a white nerd thing. Well, there were nerds of all types, but it becomes a little bit less integrated as you get into high school. But when I grew up, yeah, everyone played AD&D because we were poor. We had no money. And AD&D books, all that took was pencils, paper, dice, and you could have 5 kids on a rainy day in a room spending no money. And that's why we played role-playing games. We were broke. And you always miss that angle now when you're seeing films about it, where, the harsh truth of role-playing games is you couldn't afford a computer. You couldn't afford anything. And that's why all my friends and I loved RPGs. They were cheap.
That's a good way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And the Hollywood stereotype is that little nerdy white kids play RPGs.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. Because when you think about it, that's exactly what I was thinking. And I'm like, why is this person asking me to play? Like, I don't know nothing about that. So
it's that in a lot of games, you need more people to play because it's like a war. You're going to have to take on this adventure. And having another person there is just another person to take on this vast army. So they probably needed an extra fighter. It was a compliment.
I guess, but I don't believe that would work for me. I don't know. I've never tried it.
You could be a wizard too.
I never tried it. So
it's basically daydreaming with rules and dice. But if you've ever heard little kids play make believe, that's a lot of what RPGs are. It's make believe, and it's good. It's good. I not do it now, but it's still a beautiful thing.
Well, I don't know. I just got some trolls here. That's okay though.
What they say?
It comes with
tell the trolls we love them. See,
Yeah.
They're trolls because we're talking about D&D. It's totally natural to have trolls in AD&D. Don't worry, Dungeons and Dragons, trolls you just give them fire. They regenerate. They don't regenerate against acid and fire. Don't use lightning bolts though; it doesn't work.
I'm curious.
Trolls lightning just.
I'm curious to see if the troll. That's okay though. Oh, you're okay with it though. I'm just reading the comments from the troll.
What they say?
I'm not going to repeat their comment because it's just not even worth it. But let's see if they hang around now. That'll.
Oh, don't worry. Everyone has a troll. It's just how it is, right? I've seen so many podcasts where just people drop on, and sometimes it's also an advertisement for their own site, which when you think about it, is pretty brilliant. If Coca-Cola jumped on your podcast and said, "Fuck all you motherfuckers" in Spanish, people would probably go to Coke.
That is true.
Yeah, don't worry. That's people. Even the people that are messing with you online, they don't really need a man. They're just as unhappy and miserable as everyone else.
Well, it's life, and that's what happens.
Life is hard. Life is tough. Life is a test.
Well, I want to say that from D Live.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who this person is, but they said that the caller is cute. So they're calling you cute.
They're calling you cute?
No, you're the caller. They're calling you cute.
They can see me?
No, they can't.
I'm on. Oh, they can see my face. Yeah, I can be seen on. I don't really show myself much on Instagram, but if you go to YouTube and IMDb, there I am. I'm cute though. I can understand cute. I do look kind of like I got the glasses. And, I'm also short. I'm less than 6 feet, so I'm definitely cute.
Wait. Say it again. You're what now?
I'm short.
I don't believe that. How tall are you?
5'10".
That's not short.
Oh, yeah. To me, tall people are like 6 foot plus. But yeah, I always feel short.
I'm 5'4", so anybody taller than that is. It's considered tall to me.
That's okay. No, being short is good. If you were in Hollywood, you'd be great. They love short people. It's easier.
It makes it easier from filming, I guess, because it's not awkward. Like you're not dealing with a tall person. I'll
tell you a story. from Michael Caine. If you ever read the book On Acting by Sir Michael Caine, I love Michael Caine. He says that, God bless, it's like as an actor, I can feel my heart breaking as I tell you this story, even though Michael Caine is clearly successful. So the poor man works his ass off. Michael Caine grew up poor, and he works his ass off to be an actor, and he finally gets this big film role working opposite of this big star. And he's so happy. Shows up on the first day of the set. Now, this is it, man, his dream. His dream, he's got a job, he's going to have it made. The lead actor looks to him, and the lead actor was shorter than Michael Caine. And he said, "You're fired, get out of here." And Michael Caine had to leave because the lead actor did not want a taller man next to him. So in Hollywood, when you're working, you'll be able to move up faster if you're a bit short, and then later it's just easier to team you up with other people because a lot of people in Hollywood are short. Right. I don't want to say short. I want to say that they are average size, which is between 5 and 6, which to a person who thinks 6'3", that's tall, that would then be short. Yeah, there you go.
Well,
so 5'4" is perfect.
I guess your name is Now Guilt. We're just gonna call you Now. Now from D Live says that you are tall, dark, and handsome.
Dark? My hair's more like thank you, but my hair's more like a gray blonde. Well, not even blonde. It's like a sandy dishpan blonde. It's been that way since 16. Like, I've had gray hair since 16. It's hilarious.
Well, it's that time for us to get on out of here. I appreciate you for coming on. I love the conversations that we have.
Always.
Yeah, this was pretty good.
Can I give a shout out to the audience?
Absolutely.
Okay. I have a really good friend of mine who gave me a lot of roles starting out. His name is Steve Royal, and his last name is Royall. He has a show on YouTube called Wait What Comedy. Really funny videos. Like, this guy is smart, he is funny, he is cutting edge, he is the future of Hollywood, and he's worked in the past. So please, everyone, go to Wait What Comedy and check out Steve Royal. Royal.
I'm looking it up right now.
He spells his name Royall, so it's Royal.
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get it right now. What is it called? What's the
Wait What Comedy, one word, on YouTube. And that's Steve, Steve Royall.
Oh, I see.
And that guy's great. He really deserves more attention.
I subscribe right now. I got it.
The future.
Okay, that's what's up.
And he'd be great for your podcast, which is why I suggest him.
Yeah, go ahead and give my information, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he truly represents the future of Hollywood. I'm looking forward to more of his films.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at these comments. I appreciate you out there. It's funny.
Tell them they're great.
You are amazing. Thank you for joining in tonight.
You're amazing.
And
thank you.
We'll be in touch. I'm sure you'll be back for another round of freestyle sessions. You can come
Anytime
back.
You wish.
You can come back Friday if you're available. I think Friday is going to be off the chain. So I think we have somebody coming in from either North or South Carolina. But I really want you to come on when we have someone else on as well, so all three of us can get in on this conversation.
Thank you so much for talking to me. You're teaching me a lot about being interviewed because I'm not really good at it. So thank you so much. I respect it.
I think you are doing a great job. I wouldn't say that anymore. You're doing a great job. So you're good at
well, you have a nice night.
You too. Take care now. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Bye.
All right. See ya. All right, y'all. So there you have it. And Mr. or whoever you are out there, you got to get out of here. We've been on here for an hour. So you want to come back every night at 10 p.m., come right back here on the Phone One podcast, and you'll get all of this craziness. You never know what is going to happen. You never know who's going to be on. We go from all over the globe who knows? It is what it is. Artists, authors, business owners, it is what it is. Everybody comes here on the 411. Thank you so much, Nika. I appreciate you. Um, but again, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody out there, people out there on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and of course, D Live. Thank you for the entertainment tonight. Um, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. So now I have a question. We didn't get into this tonight, but I'm gonna leave y'all with this burning question. And of course, we're gonna revisit it tomorrow when we come back on. So, how often do you get uncomfortable in your spiritual walk? Or how often do you get uncomfortable with your spiritual walk? And we'll go ahead and leave that at that. Again, I just want to tell you, thank you everybody out there. And if you'd like to support the 4-in-1 podcast or my show Reading Between the Wines, go ahead and click the link above all of my social media platforms, and you can go inside of Volume 1, Remix Journal, and purchase a book, and it'll, of course, help support and keep everything rocking and rolling here. And I appreciate all the love and support from everybody thus far. And of course, I have to thank my executive producer, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for allowing me to come out here and give y'all the 4-in-1 podcast one more time in life. Now, tomorrow, I need y'all to check me out right here, but at 8 p.m. for Reading Between the Wines. We have Poetic Soul coming in, and I just love the way it just rolls off. So tomorrow, we're going to wind down. I want you to get your wine. I want you to get your bottles, whatever you got going on, and come right on in here at 8 p.m. for Reading Between the Wines and listen to this good friend of mine, Miss Poetic Soul. And on that note, I'll see y'all tomorrow, 8 p.m., Reading Between the Wines. Take care, y'all. Have a good night. What's going on, Kidamo? How you doing out there? We all the way in the Carolinas tonight. Have a good night. Take care, y'all.